His words were sweet, promising a future full of love and adventure. I said yes to his proposal, overwhelmed with joy. In the months that followed, Kai was the perfect boyfriend. He took me around the city, showing me all the beautiful places I had never been to before. We visited art galleries, dined at the finest restaurants, and strolled hand in hand through the parks. Kai loved shopping for me, often surprising me with gifts. He knew my taste so well and always managed to pick out the perfect dress or piece of jewelry. Kai made me fall in love with him more every day. He was attentive, caring, and always knew how to make me laugh. But after 6 months, things started to change. Kai began giving me more space, though he tried not to make it obvious. He would always have an excuse when I needed his attention, claiming he was busy with work or had to travel. When I confided in my friend Erica, she reassured me that Kai was probably just busy, as he had said. I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt and be patient. However, his busyness became more serious, and I started feeling uncomfortable. Every time I complained about his behavior and how he seemed to have changed, he would plead and make grand gestures to win back my affection. He would take me out on romantic dates, shower me with gifts, and tell me how much he loved me. And every time I would fall for it, convinced that he still cared deeply for me. One day, Kai told me he had to travel for work and wouldn't be back for days. We spent the night before he left together because I was going to miss him so much. He would be gone for almost a week this time. The following morning, I insisted on escorting him to the airport, but he said no, wanting to ensure I was home and fine before he left. He offered to take me home and then drive to the airport alone. My romantic and caring boyfriend always made sure I didn't stress, and I was so happy as we left the house. He dropped me off and went to the airport. He called immediately when he got to the airport on a WhatsApp video call. I was missing him already, but had no choice but to wait until he returned. Throughout the night, I couldn't sleep. I was worried for reasons I couldn't explain. I called him countless times, and he always picked up and talked to me normally. We did video calls throughout the night. The following morning, as I prepared to go to work, I realized I had forgotten one of the important files I was working on, and that the company would need it that morning. Thank goodness I always had his house spare key. I decided to take an Uber to his house first to get the file and then go to work. When I arrived, I was surprised to find the door unlocked. I tried to remember if Kai had forgotten to lock it, but I decided I would lock it once I was done and not bother him about it. Hope everything in here is safe, I thought. How could we be so careless? As I stepped inside, I smelled the aroma of cooked food coming from the kitchen. Panic set in, thinking that maybe we had left the gas on. I rushed to the kitchen only to find a woman standing there. I recognized her as the same girl Kai had posted a picture of once, claiming she was his sister. Both of us were shocked. The girl, whose name I later learned was Brenda, smiled and welcomed me, saying Kai hadn't mentioned I was coming. I smiled back, trying to process the situation, and asked her why she was there and how she got inside. Immediately, my mind said, she's his sister after all. Maybe she has her own spare key, so I apologized for asking such a question. Brenda, smiling, said she came in with Kai last night, and she is happy to finally meet me. I was almost confused. I thought Kai said, I couldn't complete my words because my mind interfered. Maybe something happened and he had to return with his sister, but why didn't he tell me? We spoke throughout the night. I forced a smile to Brenda, and she smiled back, saying she was already getting scared, thinking I wouldn't accept her visit. She had heard a lot about me from Kai and was looking forward to us bonding as sisters. Oh, how sweet to hear. It has always been my dream to be a sister to my man's sister. I was so happy already. I smiled happily. Brenda then hugged me, and I stood there, unable to react. Suddenly, the kitchen door opened and Kai walked in. He looked like he had seen a ghost. His face turned pale and he couldn't say a word. Brenda, oblivious to the tension, said it was nice to finally meet his sister Kai. Kai tried to smile, but it was forced. He turned to me and said, "Why didn't you tell me you were coming? I would have prepared to welcome you better." I was lost, like what? Brenda, still unaware, told him not to worry and that she would make sure I felt welcomed. She's already cooking breakfast after all. Your sister is so beautiful, Brenda added, and Kai smiled, looking at me. Beauty flows in our veins, Kai said as he looked at me, smiling. I could hardly breathe. I wanted to walk away in anger, but Kai grabbed my hand. He looked at me pleadingly and said, My little sister must be very hungry. She came all the way from Abuja. Please, Brenda, hasten up. Brenda promised to finish quickly. Kai led me out of the kitchen, holding my hand firmly. As soon as we were out of Brenda's earshot, I pulled my hand away and turned to Kai. "What the hell is going on, Kai?" I demanded, my voice shaking with anger and betrayal. Kai sighed, running a hand through his hair. "Liana, I can explain," he began, but I cut him off. "Explain what? That you've been lying to me? That this whole time you've been playing me for a fool?" My voice rose with each word. Kai glanced back at the kitchen door, then lowered his voice. "Please, let's talk about this somewhere else. I don't want Brenda to hear. I have my reasons. Don't tell me it's what I'm thinking," I said, my mind racing. He dragged me to his room. Once inside, he closed the door and faced me. "Liana, Brenda is my sister," he said quietly. I shook my head. "What? Kai, no more lies. You told her I'm your sister as well. Does this make sense to you?" Kai took a deep breath. "She is really my sister, but she's not just my sister. She's my sister from another mother. My maternal sister. Look, I landed him a slap. I was already out of patience and so furious. What the hell is he trying to do? Tell me more lies? Tears ran down my cheeks and I felt my knees buckle and I sank onto the edge of the bed. "Why me?" I whispered. Kai looked at me, his eyes filled with regret. "I'm sorry, Liana. Brenda is my ex," he said. "We were having issues and have been struggling to settle. The truth is, I still have feelings for her. I promise I will find my way to let her go." "I'm sorry," Kai said. I stared at him, disbelief and hurt coursing through me. "So, what? His feelings for me were lies? How can you say you love me but still have feelings for an ex?" "So, I was someone to keep you entertained until you settled with your ex?" I asked. "No, Liana, it wasn't like that," Kai pleaded. "I love you, I truly do. But..." He couldn't complete it. Tears filled my eyes as I stood up. "You should have told me from the beginning. You should have given me the choice to stay or leave. But you took that away from me, Kai. So all the promises, were they all lies?" He reached out to touch me, but I stepped back. Just don't. Brenda knocked on the door, calling us for breakfast. I wiped my tears and took a deep breath. I needed time to think, to process everything. I left him with Brenda in his house. I couldn't go to work anymore. I called Erica and pleaded for her to come to my place. The Uber took me home. When I got home, I almost collapsed at the entrance of my door, but I held myself. I struggled to walk in, and just by the door, I fell to the floor, unable to control my tears. Why me? God. After everything I told Kai about my last experience in a relationship, and he promised to be different. Why didn't he tell me about his feelings for his ex? I could hear someone trying to open the door. I tried to be strong. I shifted from the door. It was Erica. She was shocked to see me that way. She asked what happened, and of course I explained to her. She was shocked and furious on my behalf. "You need to confront him properly," Erica said. "Make him choose. You can't just leave because you see another girl. Let him be the one to make that decision, either to tell you to go or stay. Did Kai really leave me for Brenda, his ex?" Find out in episode 5.